this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production.
Yes, indeed. And now more than ever before, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production. I want to welcome you to this very important segment in the program where I will speak, and quite a number of positive things are happening in Grenada. You have those on the other side who want to give you that impression that things are not happening. They want to give you the impression that things are so bad, right? Those on the other side. And in fact, they're making it a task of spreading that kind of misinformation on certain programs around now because they know a lot of the visitors are here. So as a result, every morning, they call in and spread all kinds of misinformation. But little do they know, you don't have to come to Grenada anymore to know what's happening in the country. Because of technology, because of access to information, videos, photos, just name it, people get to know. So we are not living in 2001, for example. We are in 2023. Or let's say we are not in 2000, we're in 2023, 23 years after. So we have improved in terms of internet access and being able to use those different platforms to connect. So that is what NNP is doing. So they're stuck. NNP is stuck in the past where their supporters are calling couple talk show programs to give people the impression that things are bad. And they're, they're like the prophet of doom and gloom. And they're ringing down fire and brimstone on our own country. And I am saying we need to stop that. We need to encourage them to stop it. Grenada belongs to all of us. We want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and the PT Martinique. And we need to ensure that we get that. We do good, and we ensure that good comes to our communities, our homes, our villages, right? Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. We need that for our country. So this morning, I want to showcase a number of positive things that are happening in Grenada. I will start off with Andy Williams. Andy Williams, the Honorable Andy Williams. He's out there in India. I think he'll be back sometime soon. So he's out there representing Grenada. And I had a conversation with him, and he's very, very excited about the things that he was able to negotiate for and achieve out there. So Grenada is well represented on the international stage.
Ministers, government officials, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings from the Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and the government and people of Grenada. This is my first visit to India, and I'm genuinely looking forward to open exchanges. Today, we find ourselves at a critical juncture it is true. With the global economic landscape is evolving rapidly, presenting us with unprecedented challenges and opportunities. It is imperative that we join hands and engage in meaningful dialogues to explore innovative ways of deepening our economic partnerships. It is only by forging strategic alliances and leveraging each other's strengths that we can collectively overcome the challenges posed by the ever-changing global dynamics. This gathering, held under the theme, Furthering Economic Partnerships for Shared and Sustained Growth, marks a significant milestone in strengthening the economic ties between India, Latin America, and Caribbean countries. While there are still areas of cooperation between CARICOM and India, we still have much to offer to one another. Our diverse economies, abundant resources, and rich cultural heritage create a strong foundation for fruitful collaboration. Our presence here in Delhi reflects our shared commitment to build robust and resilient economic linkages that will be bound to benefit our people. As Minister for Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation, my government places paramount importance on mobilizing resources effectively and ensuring the seamless implementation for betterment of our nation. Some areas that are poised for increased collaboration include enhanced trade promotion, technology and communication support, health support, investments, medical diplomacy, climate change cooperation. Grenada and other Caribbean countries welcome investments from India to help us develop our priority areas, especially in the creative industries and the marine and yachting industry. Colleagues, as we move forward with discussions, we must recognize that these meetings mean little unless they bring benefit to our people. I am confident that our interactions and deliberations will lay the groundwork for collaborative projects. Let us commit ourselves to translating our shared vision into tangible outcomes that benefit our people and leaving a lasting impact in our societies. In conclusion, I express my gratitude to the Confederation of Indian Industry for organizing this esteemed event, providing us with a platform to converge our ideas and aspirations. I extend my best wishes to all participants for fruitful discussions and successful outcomes. I thank you.
Right, so that was the Honorable Andy Williams out there in India, representing Grenada with distinction. And look, he's that type of person. He is very good at negotiating. He's very good at implementing stuff. He's very good at representing his country. And I'm really, really proud of the Honorable Andy Williams. At this point, let me move to another positive thing. The colored-coded bins being placed around the country, and particularly at the ministerial complex, where you have quite a number of workers.
The ministerial complex is the first institution to have color-coded bins installed as part of the Reducing Marine Pollution in the Eastern Caribbean project implemented by the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. The Recycle OECS project is a response to the major problem of plastic pollution in the OECS, and as such, the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority has partnered with the Ministry of Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy to develop and implement community-based interventions that contribute to reducing marine litter. Senior Communications Officer at the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Myrna Julian, said this move will encourage proper waste disposal at the complex.
Here at the ministerial complex, the issue is exacerbated with the challenge of managing especially plastic waste and waste from the recent introduction of plastic water bottles due to the environmental conditions here, and that is the AC system. So it opened the eyes of the ministry that there is need to divert the plastic waste that is generated in this building, not to divert, but to ensure that plastic waste generated in this institution enters the loop.
Aria St. Louis, head of the Environment Division in the Ministry of Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, accepted the bins on the ministry's behalf.
Today marks an important step for us in government, being part of a bigger process of integrated management of solid waste, and that includes infrastructure for sanitation, for hygiene, as well as waste management systems. The second aspect to this that I'm looking forward to seeing is waste minimization, so less waste and prevention, and thirdly, the use of waste as a resource. So I think we have made important steps today in the right direction, and we look forward in the future to thinking about ways to minimize our current amount of waste, and then for the promotion of waste as an important resource, for example, for waste to energy.
All right, so folks, you heard there from those folks involved in the setting up of the coded bins throughout the country, and that's a good move. That's a good move, and it would help our environment tremendously. All right, let's move to another positive, and that is a message from our Prime Minister regarding safety, particularly around this time.
Grenada is moving forward with plans to formulate and establish a national security policy to create strategies to enhance safety and security for citizens. Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, on Thursday, during an address to the nation, said government is collaborating with key stakeholders to put measures in place to curb acts of crime and violence. He said on June 12, 2023, a National Security Council steering committee was established to start the process. According to Prime Minister Mitchell, recent reports of violence locally is not the reality Grenada is willing to accept. Therefore, steps will be taken to ensure more positive reviews can be realized.
This steering committee, comprised of dedicated and skilled individuals from various sectors, will be tasked with providing leadership and oversight of the process that will result in the establishment of the National Security Council. The National Security Council will in turn be tasked with formulating strategies and policies to safeguard our citizens. It will be required to create and implement a comprehensive national security policy and strategy for Grenada that will underscore the country's security goals and priorities. While law enforcement may be paramount to promoting law and order, securing the safety of communities and the country requires an integrated approach. The evolving local, regional, and global dynamics of crime and violence necessitates a collaborative mechanism for monitoring and developing proactive, preventative strategies to threats to safety, peace, and freedom from threats of violence and actual violence.
Consultations will be held in the coming weeks with various sectors.
A series of consultations will be held across our Tri-Island state to gather insights from citizens, including specifically and particularly our young people, churches and church leaders, at our schools, including our educators, students, and administrators, non-governmental organizations, including community leaders, community groups and activists, law enforcement and the prison authorities, the labor and trade unions, the business and private sector, health sector workers, in particular mental and community health workers, and others, to obtain their input in the development of a comprehensive national security plan to ensure that Grenada remains a safe, secure, and stable society.
As Grenada hosts several events to commemorate its Spice Mass, Prime Minister Mitchell reminded citizens that safety is shared responsibility. He charged them to have clean, safe fun and to be their brother's keeper.
This is the experience that I wish for us all this Spice Mass. A safe and enjoyable celebration where every individual has the opportunity to relax and revel in the beauty of our rich heritage, whether you choose to parade in the bands, enjoy the various live shows, or taking the festivities from a distance. Safety is everyone's business. As we delve deeper into the festive season, the public can expect to see a strong presence of the Royal Grenada Police Force in communities across our island and in all major events to ensure the smooth flow of all activities and the safety of patrons.
Right, so folks, that's a good message there from our beloved Prime Minister, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. All right, let me now feature a little piece from a farmer, right? A farmer who was very happy with, all the plans at the propagation station. There, they have a number of plans being distributed. So let me just feature that.
This year, though, that there was a number of spice trees, a lot of spice plants, clove and cinnamon and so forth. So a wide variety of plants, and it is a way also of expanding what you're able to do economically as a family. You are able to get plants for which there's a market. We know, for example, coconut water is an expanding market. There are a lot of coconut plants in different varieties here. Those persons having beauty around their homes, there are a lot of different flower plants and so on. So wide variety. I was very pleased. Most of what I was looking for I was able to source, and I'm a happy farmer today.
Right, so he's a happy farmer. You would not see that being featured nowhere else, because really and truly, all you hear is the negative stuff. All you hear is the negative stuff from left, right, and center. All right. So the government of Grenada, they continue to prioritize agriculture and do a lot for the farmers and fisher folks out there. But you would not hear a lot of praises given to the government. All right. Yes, because we have a lot of people in this place who are quick to criticize. They're very quick to criticize the government. And it's all about the negative stuff. That is what they want to go out there with the hope that people will start thinking, doing, seeing, even if good things are happening, they would still see it as a negative thing. You look at the condition of our roads. They are constantly working on our roads, and they are doing a very good job. You look at the Royal Grenada Police Force and their response to a number of things in the country, events and so on. Their presence is felt. They're doing the searches. The government announced that they have structures and plans and so on in place to fight crime, and they list it out what they are doing to help our people. But still, the NNP surrogates and all of them, they still continue to say, well, what you doing about crime? What you have in place when it comes to crime or fighting crime? And they would paint a picture, giving people the impression that we in Jamaica or in Trinidad. All right? So no matter what the government does, no matter what the Prime Minister put in place, no matter what they do, the NNP will always be negative towards this government, and they would never highlight the positive things that are happening in our country. And mind you, our people have grown accustomed to negativity. It's just me trying to change the mindset of our people. Hence the reason I constantly highlight the positive things, showcase the positive things that are happening in our country. We have a lot to be thankful for, to be grateful for. I was saying to a friend, that worker who goes to work 30 minutes before 8, so 7:30 every morning. The worker's supposed to be there at 8 legally and leave at 4. But that worker who goes to work at 7:30 every morning, and when he or she gets there, they would wipe the desks, even if that is not their role. They would sweep that office space, even if that's the cleaner's job. They would do the extra, right? They would not, the manager, the folks there, would not even recognize that worker. But the day the worker goes to work 10 minutes past 8 or 5 minutes past 8, then they're called in an office and say, well, you're late, you know. What's your excuse? What's your this? What's your that? And then they would want to cry down that worker. But that is how we are designed as a people. You can't see the good in X or Y. You only could see the bad. And our young people are growing up in that same way. So we become very critical about everything. And then we become bullies, even on social media and elsewhere. We become so negative that all we can see is just that, to criticize. So a person has a beautiful costume, for example, well designed and so on. But maybe one little thing happened, and all they can talk about is that little thing, not the entire costume and the designs and everything like that. So we become too critical as a people because there are programs in Grenada who give a platform. They provide a platform. There are radio stations in Grenada that provide a platform for people to call every morning and just be critical. That is what it's about, right? So they pull out a little piece in this calypso or that calypso, and they say, don't worry, it's calypso, just to make the point that they hate X or Y. And they go after the prime minister and they go after that person. And they are given ample time to talk rubbish, to criticize the prime minister, to criticize the leaders of government, to criticize everybody else. But that is what we have grown accustomed to. Platforms being created just to smear people, to attack people, to talk ill about your own country or about your own leaders. That is exactly what is happening. But we have to change that mindset. Well, okay, maybe it used to happen before, but let us move to a next level. We are going on to 50 years as a nation, as an independent nation. We could start today. Let us look and identify the good in our people, the good in our society, the good in our country, the good in our leaders. But you see, there are some people on the other side who continue to propagate, who continue to inculcate in their supporters that for them to come back into power, they have to be negative. They have to attack government on every single thing. And sometimes when you listen to the contributions from the other side, you wonder whether they went to school. So you have a gentleman given a platform to talk about the CBI program, the Citizenship by Investment program, and he starts going down, and I say, but wait. The host should say to this guy, it is the same CBI program or Citizenship by Investment program that is paying salaries, that's fixing roads, the same road in Fenton Village, fixing the healthcare, the medical station, or the polyclinics and so on, the schools, and we can go on and on. It's the same money, and we depend on that money. And there are programs being rolled out, the same citizenship by investment program, all around the world in many different countries. Many different countries. So it's not Grenada alone, because you see, it sounds so barbaric. It sounds so backward, right? When you listen to these people, when they speak, it's like Grenada alone that has a program like that running. Nearly all the Caribbean islands, they have a citizenship by investment program running. And the people who get citizenship, they can invest in that fund, that national trust fund, right? Where government can deep in there to do stuff to better the lives and living standard of our people. Or they can invest in projects and so on in the country. So to say that we need to get out from this and get out from that, hello, we have no option. We have no choice but to fall in line. And our program is a very good program. In fact, there's so much due diligence and so on. It's really amazing. But under the previous administration, you see, because the previous administration messed up so much with a lot of con men and crooks that came into this thing, their supporters still believe that it is existing now. It's not. You hear about have you heard about any con man, any crook, any phony, any anybody who is in this thing that some FBI or Scotland Yard or whatever have them on some wanted list or anything like that? No. So the program is running well, but these people are allowed to call a radio program and say all of these things, and the host would just allow them. And many a times they're talking rubbish, they're talking foolishness. And that is why there is a need to rein in some of these programs, the content of some of these programs. And yes, we believe in press freedom, but not because you are free to talk means that you need to slander or spread misinformation or disinformation out there. That's wrong. And make it even worse against your country. That is what they do. And it's the opposition forces. They are the ones who are spreading misinformation to damage Grenada. That is what they are doing. They don't like Grenada. They want to see Grenada on its knees. And we must call them out, because they could actually communicate with their supporters. They know all these people who call in programs and talk this rubbish, and say to them, it's about Grenada. So not because you want to come back into power, you must be so negative to your country. It's the same country you want to come and govern. And that is what I cannot get you. It is the same country you want to come back into power and govern the people, the same piece of rock. So why you want to damage it so bad? And my mind goes back to when this said individual on the other side spoke about making this country ungovernable. In other words, he would wreck it, mash it up. And that is what we're seeing from the opposition forces. They're still on that project to get Grenada on its knees. You lost, but you're still at it to destroy your own country, to spoil the image of your own country. And some people don't understand that there are consequences for your action on social media or on the radio. When you speak, it's not staying just in your house. When you call a radio station, right? This thing is not staying just in your house, It's going around the world. So I am saying we need to change the mindset of our people. Yes, you can be critical, but you cannot be so critical that You cannot even identify the good that's happening, the positive things that are happening. Everything for you is just negativity. Everything for you is just cry down your own country, badmouth your own country, talk ill about your own country. Things are going good. Salaries are being paid on time. Right? The pensioners, they continue to get their pension. Or roads are being fixed. Look at the kind of injection they are making in agriculture. Look at the amount of plants, spice trees and so on that are available for planting. Unheard of. Look at the kind of training and assistance given to our farmers in Grenada. You have the farm labor program, right? The debushing program, it continues. Things are happening. Come on, look at the amount of construction that's taking place throughout the country. Look at the amount of people who are building houses in Grenada. Our brothers and sisters are coming back home to build. And it's our local people, you know, not just foreigners. Our local people coming back home to build and retire in this place. Look at our polyclinics and so on. They have been refurbished. Things are happening. It is not all bad. Those on the other side, they become the prophet of doom and gloom, and only bad stories alone they want to hear, as though they live in a horror movie. And if bad things don't happen, you know, they're not happy. Come on. Come on, look at education, free access for young people, and not just at pre-primary or primary or secondary, but also at the tertiary level. TAM-CC, new law and so on. They've introduced the technical training in those schools, Grenadian history in those schools, free tuition. You're not paying tuition, so you don't have to find the $800 and something to send your child or children to college and so on. The voucher program is still on. The free textbook program is still on. Come on. Scholarships are still being given. So many things are happening. Schools are being refurbished, reconditioned, retrofitted with labs and so, come on. But yet for all these people out there saying nothing is happening and things are so bad, and say, what you want the government to come and do? To bathe you? Huh? To wash your clothes? To brush your teeth? To feed you? To pamper you? Our people have become so lazy, and not just physically and mentally. It's like a disease. But the NNP train their supporters to be lazy and to be dependent on government. Everything they depend on government. You know, only recently, there was this NNP supporter, right? So the folks doing the debushing program. And during the NNP time, that NNP supporter used to clean the landscaping, use the weed eater, and he would clean the front of his yard, right, his house. So his place is fenced, and in doing the landscaping, he would clean inside and, you know, on the edges. So it's close to the road. So he would clean that. The NNP lost the election. So you have the debushing program going on. And he would do the landscaping inside of his fenced property. And he refuses to clean the outside. So the contractor in turn said, but I have been working on this piece of road for donkey years, and you always clean the outside of your fenced place. And then he turned around and said to the contractor, you know, the debushing gang contractor, well, the NDC in power, let them clean it. And that is the kind of mindset that some of the NNP supporters have. I see with my own eyes, some of them going to work to debush, you know, do the same debushing gang. And they're going late, as though they're dragging to go because the NDC is in power. It's amazing. That is the mindset of these people, and it can't change. And even if they work within government, that is what they will delay stuff. Yes, they will delay stuff. There are PSs who will delay stuff because they don't want the government to look good. They go drag the procurement. They go drag the implementation of this and that. That is what they're doing. Yep. Workers, there are people who are working. And instead of, working for honest, giving an honest day work for honest day pay, they're not doing that. No. They bent on sabotaging the system and making sure that the government looks bad. That is what they want. But it's their own community, their own workplace, but that's how they do it. But we have to change the mindset of our people. We must change the mindset of our people to say to them, Grenada comes first. This is our country. This is our place. We can't continue like that. We cannot continue like that. But I am saying we have to observe these things, and as you go along, I spoke about the traffic wardens. The majority of these people were hired by NNP, and their mindset is right there, NNP. So they target certain people, charge them so that they can pay more, and they can hurt in their pockets. The majority of these people hired by NNP. I'm telling you, and they are not professional, some of them. Some, they are professional, but some, they are not professional and they are not mannered. They come to you as though they want to, fight with you. I'm telling you. And that is something that needs to be, purged from the system. You need to either retrain them or get new people who are trained properly to deal with things like that. And not only there, you see it in different areas within the public service, even within the Royal Grenada Police Force. You have some very nice police officers. And again, you have some, because they didn't get rank, they didn't get promotion, they're taking it out on people. Yeah, I'm telling you. And you'll see that every single day as you move around. They angry, the bitterness. But it's not about party, it's about country. It's about country. And we need to say it as is. It's about country. Folks, a lot of rain is falling. I just want to make a quick move there to close my doors or windows. All right? So let me just play a little piece of that. So.
Minister of Implementation, Mr. Hotspot and the Hotspot. Yes, Minister of Transformation, Mr. Hotspot, you in the hotspot. I must extend my hand, say congratulations on your mission to clean up this island. But I made an observation, you only clean in one section, like your operation mode is to just clean by the road, and this we can't afford, cause if you clean across the board. So all them NNP elements who trying to derail the government, clean them up fast, and they don't let the time pass, and they, cause if you ever make that mistake, it's one time again all you're going to make. Clean them up fast, and they don't let the time pass, and they, you could bring him up, you could bring him through, but don't forget you have to vacuum. Just clean them up fast, and they don't let the time pass, and they, it have some PS in ministry and pick appointed by an MP. Then you have to monitor, are they on board with the agenda? Well, if not, tell them to pack. Your first obligation is to this rock.
Yes, your first obligation is to this rock. Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And some people get this thing confused, The PSAs in the different ministries, they are to carry out the agenda of the executive of the government. They are to carry out the objectives of the government. So they could be NNP, PLM, GLP. That's the business. But when it comes to any party in power, any government in power, they have to carry out that. So it's so important that we try to change the mindset of our people. It will take some time. It will take a long, long time to change the mindset of our people. Because some people are so loyal to a party. They don't care about the country and the government. They're all about a party. And that's it. But that is not how it's supposed to be. It has to be different. It has to be different. Grenada belongs to all of us, and we should want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. All right? So I want to encourage you to speak to your young ones, because if they realize that all you do is to criticize, all you do is to be negative, 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 they will grow up just that way too. And they become bullies. And you see it, especially around now, this carnival season. There are people who are so negative that they don't understand what they are doing to people, the psychological impact they're having with all the negativity. So they're going to criticize a person with their costume. They're going to criticize a person the way they look in terms of their feature. They're going to criticize them with their hair, criticize them with every single thing. That is how they do it. And that is how some of these people thrive. They're dangerous because, for example, when we had the 2 suicides, boy, people call on radio, people this and that, and they're talking about this and support and what and what and what. Well, all had gone out of the door. All had gone out of the door. They're back to normal, criticizing, castigating people, bullying people, saying all manner of dirty things about people, posting it all about the place to name and shame and do all kinds of stuff. And it's taking a toll on people. And it's destroying communities and families and so on. Because people are so negative in their thought. Just negativity straight. We have to change that. Look at the good thing in our people. I remember saying to my friends, you know, I know this gentleman and I can tell you his strengths because I harness his strengths, not his weaknesses. I'm not concerned about his weaknesses. I am more concerned about his strengths. Yes, I would like to help him to improve, but I am that type of person. I identify your strengths and I work with that. So I don't beat you down or cry you down for your weaknesses. We are not perfect. You have to change the mindset of our people. Our people are too negative, just too negative. So because there's platforms to aid and abet that kind of behavior, because there are platforms created for that, to keep you negative and to keep you hating and to keep you bitter and to keep you everything criticizing. We have to move from that level. We are going on to 50 years as a nation, 50 years as an independent country. If there are good things, let's praise it. Let's acknowledge it. Let's applaud it. If there are things that are not going right, I see there is need for improvement, right? Of course, you can call it out. But don't tell me that every morning you call a program just to criticize. Every morning, just to cry down a government or to cry down somebody or to cry down your neighbor. That is what you're living for. And the politicians, they're laughing at you, Because when you're doing these things, you believe that you're having an impact on them. Joke you're making. They're living good. They're living good, if you don't know. And they're uniting too. For example, look at the past minister and rep for St. Patrick West. All right. The honorable, well, he was the honorable Anthony Boswin at the time. So he's Anthony Boswin, our prime minister, our beloved prime minister, and the honorable Joseph Andel and the honorable Delma Thomas. They visited him, right? And I thought that was really remarkable. Really, really remarkable, because he's not at 100% in health. And that is what you want to see. They played some domino and so on together. So while you're cussing and fighting and making all kind of stupidness, these people are not interested in that. They're about uniting, pulling things together, and moving forward. I wish that the former prime minister could do the same thing, right? Visit the Honorable Anthony Boson, right? Or Boswin, and play some dominoes with him because you like to play dominoes. Do the same thing. You don't expect that. No. So I'm saying we have to move from that point. There's too much of hate, too much of bitterness, too much of anger from the other side. Change your mindset. Let's move to the next level. Let's develop this country together. Because if this country develops and things start happening, then your community will benefit, your family will benefit, all of our people will benefit. That is what we want to see. All right? So, folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. I want to wish you all the best. Take good care. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. All right? Tomorrow morning, I'll be back with you again to converse. And as we go, as we get closer to the carnival period, the programs will be shorter somewhat, and there's no night programs between now and carnival. After carnival, we come back to normal programming because I know a lot of people are really up and about and in events and activities and so on. There isn't plenty consumption or appetite for that kind of talk radio vibes, but I do understand. Normally around this time I would take a break, but I'm keeping it on still because we have those on the other side whose task it is to mislead, to malign, to spread propaganda and cry down the country. And we must still be out here talking about the positive things that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PG Martinique. Folks, take good care and bye for now. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's raining on the outside, so if you're going out, you have to wear certain protective gears.